Minecraft's recent updates have been great, however, there are still so many features that I'd love to see added, which is why using mods and resource packs, I've created my dream Minecraft game drop, Blossoms and Biomes. And obviously my goal with this update is to update Minecraft's nature theme, whilst also adding in a few new biomes. And this is actually our first biome using the mod Wilder Wilds. We have the Maple Forest, which is the biome I'd like to see most in Minecraft, mainly because of all of the colourful leaves, which is definitely a big feature of my update, as I'd like to see yellow, orange and red leaves added into Minecraft. Now obviously this mod adds so many really cool features into this biome, however do I want to see every single one of these? Whilst it would be cool, I feel like probably not. We don't need like every type of flower spawning in this biome. Maybe just have it so it spawns one or two new unique ones, as well as some new types of leaf litter, which we'll get into in a bit, as well as a brand new wood set. As did you know, it's been over a year since Minecraft's added a brand new block. This resin block was the last block Minecraft added, which is why I think in the next update, I'd like to see some new building blocks. And I think a new wood set would be perfect, such as maple wood. Obviously we get the log, the strip log, the planks, as well as the door textures. Same with trapdoors, and then obviously the yellow, orange and red leaves, which are probably the feature I'd like to see most. But this is obviously from the Wilder Wild mod, which does a great job of adding this new wood set into the game. And as there are 3 colours of leaves, I'd like to see 3 types of saplings as well, which obviously all grow up into these brand new, really cool looking maple trees, which obviously can have their own unique falling leaf particle as well as another brand new feature. As another feature in the Blossoms and Biomes update I'd like to see is unique types of leaf litter. Obviously, the Wilder Wild mod adds this in. We've got all the yellow, red and orange coloured leaf litter, but we can also get pale oak leaf litter, azalea leaf litter, obviously the regular one which is from oak. We can get spruce leaf litter, dark oak leaf litter and cherry leaf litter, which all look so good and would definitely be a big improvement, as it sort of makes sense to get it as well. You could simply place the leaf block in a furnace. You don't need to worry about finding it in each biome. Like obviously there's no azalea biome, so we may not necessarily find azalea leaf litter in the wild, but just smelting it would be a fun extra block to build with. As that's definitely another theme of this update. I love to build sort of with foliage in Minecraft, so that's what I'd like to see in a Minecraft update, more foliage related items to build with. And I've also got plans for 3 other game drops, which I'm going to make separate videos on. So if that sounds interesting, make sure to subscribe and let me know what your dream Minecraft update would be. As obviously the Maple Forest isn't the only biome I'd like to see added in the Blossoms and Biomes update, as I'd also like to see the Lavender fields added into Minecraft, and this is from the Biomes O'Plenty mod. Now this mod adds such a cool biome into the game, however I don't necessarily feel like we need every brand new feature from it. For example, I don't feel like we need these brand new types of trees, which I don't even know what they are. Jacaranda, I don't feel like we need jacaranda wood added in this biome. I also feel like we don't need oak trees everywhere. However, there is a feature on the oak tree which I'll talk about in a bit, which I really want to see. Oh, that tree is burning though. But the main thing I'd like to see in a lavender field is obviously lavender. As another feature of Blossoms and Biomes that I'd like to see are new types of flowers, and I feel like lavender would be a perfect flower for Minecraft. Same with this tall lavender, just to add more variation. Plus it would offer Minecraft's first flower that can be crafted into purple dye. But I'd like to see this biome as something like a sunflower plains or a flower forest biome, which is sort of an offset of a regular plains biome, which spawns fairly rarely, but also just contains some really cool unique features, such as these brand new type of flowers. And obviously, as this is the Blossoms and Biomes update, I'd like to see multiple types of flowers added into the game. And obviously, I just mentioned lavender, which would be great to see, but I'd also like to see the rose reintroduced into the game. Obviously, this flower was removed back in Minecraft like over 10 years ago now, but I feel like it's such a nostalgic feature that it just makes sense to be re-added, and I feel like a really fun mechanic would be to get a rose bush, you use your shears on it, and it will drop off multiple roses, and perhaps creating like a double tall bush item as well, which would be another fun foliage item, which is another feature I'd like, more foliage items, which I'll get onto in a minute. That's why I feel like the rose would be a really fun feature. In a similar way, I'd like to see the cyan rose re-added. This was sort of a rose equivalent on Pocket Edition back in the day. However, I feel like it should once again still be added to Minecraft. And this is from a Trailer Tales mod, which does a great job at reintroducing this into the game in the form of a sniffer flower, which I feel like makes sense. The sniffer should definitely get some more plant variants, and I feel like an old sort of extinct Minecraft flower really just does make sense. I mean, obviously the rose could be obtained in that same way. However, I feel like sharing a rose bush would still be quite a fun mechanic, and the cyan rose would just be another fun flower to find from the sniffer. Another couple of types of flowers I'd like to see are some more like 4-block ones, such as the wildflowers or pink petals like these ones from the Wilder Wild mod. We've got phlox and lantanas. I mean, not necessarily seeing these flowers into the game, despite how cool they look, but I'd just like to see some more flowers where we place them in a similar way. Just like placing 4 on 1 block. I feel like we just need more types, as we've only got pink petals, wildflowers, amber leaf litter. Obviously, in this update, I'd also like to see more leaf litter forms. I feel like more types of flowers like this would be great as well. And as I just mentioned, I'd love to see more foliage items in general, and I feel like this would be a great update to add some in. For example, similar to these sort of wildflowers, I'd like to see clovers, maybe spawning in the plains, maybe spawning in some of the new biomes, as these would just be another fun decoration item, similar to the bush which was added earlier this year. I'd also like to see something like a sprout. We just need sort of more like weeds and random sort of foliage items. This one's from Biomes of Plenty, and I feel like it makes sense once again. And the Wild mod also adds in frozen grass, fern, bush, tall grass, and large fern variants, which I feel like just does make sense. My idea of this update wouldn't overhaul like an entire snowy or desert biome or anything. I feel like just extra features in those biomes would still be cool, which is why I think frozen grass really does just make sense. And I guess in a similar fashion to the frozen grass, it'd be cool to get like a mini cactus as well. Another feature that I referenced earlier on in the video when we were in the lavender fields is a new type of leaf, and I'd like to see a flowering oak leaf or just flowering leaves in general added. I feel like this would just be a fun feature, maybe found in the flower forest for example, growing on the trees, just to add a new type of leaf to build with. So far, the Blossoms and Biome update has 2 new biomes, a new wood set, a load of new flowers, new foliage items. But what else does it add? Well, it can't be a Minecraft update without brand new mobs. So in this brand new update, I'd like to see new mob variants as well as a brand new type of mob. And the first new mob variant is goats. So obviously the default goat spawns in the mountain biomes and is more of a cold goat variant. However, goats in real life spawn in warm, cold, and temperate climates. So we've already got the cold variant, but I'd like to see warm and temperate biome goats. And this art I found on Reddit by user Key Orchard does a really good job at showing exactly what I'd like to see. As I think it would be cool to find like a warm goat, for example, with less fur, and then a temperate one maybe spawning in the plains biome, or variants of a plains biome, perhaps the new maple forest or new lavender fields. As just some extra variants of mobs, we've already got cow, pig, and chicken variants, so it would make sense to get goat variants as well. Now, I'd also improve the goat further, just by adding some more quality of life features. For example, I'd make it so when the goat is killed, it drops a little bit of mutton, as then it can be used as a source of food, which sort of does just make sense. And I'd also allow the player to use shears on it, so it drops a little bit of strength, and I feel like this would make sense, especially if there are new goat variants, as the warm one would have less fur, which means technically you should be able to shear the cold variant, and maybe it loses its fur, but drops you a bit of strength. Maybe it could grow it back somehow, or maybe then you have a new variant of a goat, similar to how you can have 1 or 0 horned goats, you'll be able to get a sheared goat. Now, another mob variant that I'd like to see is a desert variant of the fox. This was actually created on Reddit over 6 years ago by user Durkey Power, but I'd like to see like a desert fox, for example like a fennec fox, added into the game, as we've got the temperate, we've got the cold, so it only makes sense to get this warm variant as well, and it makes sense in the desert. Rabbits exist, these foxes could hunt rabbits, and obviously they don't need to drop anything. I just think a desert variant of the fox would be really fun to encounter. But obviously it's not just mob variants I'd like to see, as there's one more type of mob I'd really like to see in a new Minecraft update. Now, I've had to travel all the way back to Minecraft 1.20.1 to showcase the next mob from the mod Naturalist, as another mob which I feel like makes sense for the Blossoms and Biomes update are new bird variants. So this mod adds in the blue jay, the canary, cardinal, robin, and sparrow. All would be so cool. Do we need every single one? Probably not, but I like to see just little bird variants added to Minecraft. Mainly because of what you can hear right now. Just some ambient bird sounds would be great in the forest within Minecraft, and either we could add actual birds which make these sounds, or just have these sounds ambiently playing in biomes. Although I think I'd go for the new bird types, because look how cool they are. And now they don't necessarily need to have a drop or anything unique about them. I just like some ambient birds to like fly around the different forests within Minecraft. So those were my ideas for what I'd like to see in a Minecraft game drop. What do you think about the Blossoms and Biomes update? If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to subscribe and let me know what you'd like to see in a Minecraft update.